the limits liabilities while walking by kingdom as a human trying to fix this one conch shell of semi-conscious people is having a problem. I do believe that before it hits accounts with limitations, that the imagery, it's I am age. That's because I am time. Right. Get it? Got it? Good, committee, who were committed to certain requirements, knew that this was a shifting sand platform. SHIFTING PLATFORM. That if you get something in your grandparents' lifetime, as long as you continue to help the committee that is committed to the one child of more royal stature than any of you could possibly imagine, get to the time where she needs to be here in physical to help you all in your dynamic and dynastic problem of wanting to recreate a brand new world together, which only comes in the time they appear. They will be here with a toothbrush and a paintbrush. Don't ask more, don't expect more, and do exactly as you get. So we got to a good place the right way the first time. Because there will never be a second time. For sure. So why, when that's the case, actually, oddly enough, just side note, when I was in Hofstra with Niklaus, he gave me his rotating, I called it vibrating, but it was like rotating toothbrush. I guess it was like a Sonicare or Oral-B. I'd never even seen something that was like motion censored. I only had like manual toothbrush, right? And I only had used toothpaste. So he was like, no, it's salt. We brush with salt. And I'm like, we do. Oh, brine, right, got it. Okay, so then that was odd, but right, then of course I said, well, you have to kind of teach me these things because who remembers in this whatever. And he's like, I only packed enough for while I was here. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? I was like, you're going somewhere? And he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You just said you packed enough only for here. Where are you going? And he's like, I have to go home briefly for, and I'm like, and then that started a whole, wait, come again? Like, what? Like, why are you leaving? Like, I just got settled with you and just don't want you to ever leave. So, yeah, that was 1998 done correctly in that one particular bathroom scene and moment of the two actors in the correct cuneiform human in the happiest time that both of them had. I mean, they had a couple of others, but who can remember if that's on this platform of 9, 3/4, 9. That's the way we just don't mess it up. And don't put yourselves ahead of our priorities. Anyway, so getting back to, I had a conversation earlier with my mother about India, right, which I hate to say that word in Western philosophy when I woke up, knowing my mother knows nothing about the Indian culture, nor the, I want to say Sherpas, but that's more Tibetan, but Nepal, right, so, but I don't even know, oh my god, it eludes me at the moment, ELUDES, that should be on Daya, but, right, so India is in a Daya, so it's a DIA, it is a landmass that feeds into the water, it kind of is a form of delta, it is also a mammary gland that feeds the earth and the oceans, in a sense of a community. I always appreciated their sense of culture and people in their utility and their adherence and the way that they treat their family members. From 2,300 years ago, I have seen nothing but wonderful things in my very real documentary of BBC. Not that I favor them as opposed to any of the other territory for IT contracts that nobody's supposed to have. No matter what the new children say, they are beheadable because they are not adhering to what is needed from the SciSTEM whole system god. They are in a splinter arguing over stupid shit that will be their demise. So so going back to when I appreciate, and the people in India that I more than appreciate in all of the providentials, which my name and my legends are tattooed all over, which is why I was hoping to get there in this lifetime. It is the nouveau educated there as well that are a real drain to every society and a real problem in my real life. Right. So anyway, so I said, right. And then I did do a mention, since Linda knows absolutely nothing. She has not been taught by anybody. She's living a Western philosophy of take everything away from the Americans and the white kids and try to rebuild. But it is now in a flip-flop, like different type of Omega generation where like we've got steals of navel oranges that belong to one child who has some people who hold Mandarin oranges that she appreciates, but she doesn't know how they feel about her. Right, about the whole main drain and then the spelling of it, but that's why we have trifecta words, which I hope some of their old practices can explain to their people that I'm a Catanese, which I hope that that doesn't offend you, because I know at the end of certain dynasties, like that does get very touchy and upset. I've heard from some of the escapees that have now rerouted themselves over here, but I don't trust anything that they say about anybody. I mean, I did meet a Lynn, oh God, what was her name? Priscilla Lynn. Beautiful woman. She plays the violin. I was actually really intrigued by that when I saw that on Facebook. I absolutely appreciate her. I think she's here. She said she's from somewhere else, which is fine. I have no idea where. Even if she said it, I wouldn't know what the culture over there is like in this day and time. But I did appreciate her as a person. And actually, she did say to me, she goes, you know, you look like a goddess. And I'm like, really? I said, well, you know, I appreciate you saying so. I said, I don't feel like one for sure. But thank you. You know, it was really, really nice. And then there was like a whole weird thing because she was acting a little strange, but for me, like, strange is like not new because I'm like the weirdest person on the planet at all times. Anyway, so I really appreciated her for whatever reason she was sent there. It was a little strange, but I was very curious to know her situation. Not that I know the backward story, but I do know the front facing, like what my surface, and taking her at the value of her words. So the value of her words was that she was from elsewhere in China, that she didn't speak English very well. She was there purposely she took a bus, a bus, so I don't know, from Flushing, Flushing. And I guess she was sitting outside of Starbucks. I guess maybe she knew my schedule. I don't really know my bus schedule. And so when I came there, she sat down next to me. She wanted to talk while she was waiting for whatever. So we did, until I had to go get Nucci from school. So that was interesting, and I'm still friends with her on Facebook, although I'm locked out at the moment. So those are that's like one good Chinese person I've met in my entire life, or so she claimed to be. I don't really, and then I had a manager, which I really, really liked her. She was adopted, Teresa Potter, TheresaPotter. And I had a manager, Jason Kidd, JASONKIDD. I really liked him also. He was a really good guy. He reminded me of Ian, actually, IAN, from England. But he was, I don't know, he was like he's not Nicholas, let's be clear on that. I mean, very handsome, but not my cup of tea. But he's an American in the sense of like, he's what I remember America is supposed to look like and act like in, like honor and like just a good upstanding person. So anyway, and Teresa, I really liked her. She just hates everything and everyone, which I just totally get a kick out of that. I just was so enamored by her and quiet, just watching and listening and just appreciating who she is. So, that is that, and, what else? We are in, right, okay, oh, so going back to my mother, who, the Tree of Lynn, believe it or not, rooted in the correct potting soil, but in the complete wrong Western philosophy where everybody has just shit on America for so long and thinking elsewhere, telling Eastern philosophy how wonderful America is. Yeah, they just fucking lie all over the place at Charlie's factory and Elizabeth's coronation crown of mortuary science. MORTARY. Anybody notice that the more plan, the more, mas, right? The mas with one S. Yeah, the one where you take, TAKEMASMORE. Oh my gosh, you take more from the one God who needs to help all of the rest at every single level, no matter what you believe in Western and Eastern philosophy. Oh, okay, right. So why would you want to take more from the one God who's already born with one S, but is in charge of helping the masses with two S, being that her and the proper husband are put together in prearranged marriage from star people that what Eastern philosophy knows about and could believe in, but has to be explained and appreciated and respected the right way, which I do. But again, I got such a broad channel to speak to. So, and trying to educate my mother, right? Pakistan, right? I don't want to forget Pakistan. But then it was also like Afghanistan, like something bad. Forgive me for not remembering off the cusp. My connection doesn't always work. It's like a Allahabad. I don't know. I looked it up. Allahabad. It's like right Pakistan and India. It's a hotbed of zone of fighting. I don't know why. I am assuming it is some form of they don't want to mix racial and religions, which is fine. I totally understand and get that. I and appreciate you all for sticking to what you believe in. But over there, that's halal, HALAL, meat. That they have special butchers, BUTCHERS, that are trained in the art of cutting the jugular so the animal doesn't suffer. Same with the Japan sashimi, or so I've been told, SASH. I think. Sushi, SUSHI, artists, ARTISTS, who cut the fish in such a way and a manner, and it is a real culture, art, and honor, HONOR, to be taught something as culture rich as that. So that is right. I told Linda all of this, trying to get some kind of gear and cognition and like memory for her that will come up on whatever else in imagery and captivation and tracers and so on and so forth at King's Toolbox. Let's see, where else am I, and what did I tell her, right, halal meat, I told her about that. Oh, and then I said, right, in India, right, Urdu, Hindu, I don't remember which one, it is totally against policy and procedure, for POLICY, for them to kill a utility, such as a working farm animal, a UTILITYFARMANIMAL, because what a waste of resource, WASTEOFRESOURCE, for the family to lose their ability to farm better. You know, I mean, I understand that you're saying that meat, but it's not for everybody. I mean, I don't eat meat. I don't like meat, and I'm fine. Yeah, on this Mother's Day, by the way, whoever bought this imagery and headspace, my mother is making pork chop, PORKCHOP. Ugh! But whatever, it's a loin, LOIN, go fucking figure, with you and your castle problems, Charlie, and the will I am, and I will steal from everybody on all the lead generations coming in. It was clear as a bell. Why would you char Hiroshima with nuclear radiation and then call them Charlie, C-H-A-R. It's a char. That's what you do when you burn. B-U-R-N, people. Prince of Charles, like in London, bucking the system, and the ham, H-A-M, also P-O-R-K, that the kosher Jewish, Kosherjewish, and I'm not sure about Hebrew, Hebrew, I'll throw you in for a moment, since not all of you go kosher or believe in kosher, but again, it's like the halal and the people that respect not eating meat completely. Your identities, IDINITYS, and your entities, ENITIES, are all so nomadically, NOMADICALLY, combined at this point between the East and the West, and I have to rely on other people in BBC, British broadcast channel, to bring me Charlie's version of stealing everyone's free will, and then lying to you all for several generations. So I'm relying on that source and trying to pick through what really is and what may make sense at some point if somebody else can confirm it, because I don't believe a fucking thing out of him or his crown and mortuary science. So anyway, going back to Moore and Moss, if you take the 2S out of a MASS, you take the physicalness out of anything real. So it now becomes a theoretical, hypothetical, and something that is correct, but not in this version. So that is what happens when you require more than the mass that is supposed to have two S's in a transport system together, and then they will help give you more. In a MAS together, as an MASS, we will give others MAS. One S together, because him and I will be together, and we will be complete in order to give more to you going forward in a corrected future for everybody's benefit. Because the two gods have now combined, and the systems outside and system outside of Omega, in Alpha, Omega, Delta Alpha Gamma, and in this Alpha within the Omega, we're working. But currently we are not working we are at full system failure for 41 more years after already having a 100-year lead into this, more than 100, but we'll go with 100 at the most for a couple of turns of germination and generation. That was your last call to get your part right. So am I upset at identity and entities elsewhere that are still fighting for reasons I can't verify at the moment? No. I get that you'll all fight over whatever you believe in, which is fine. Just please don't get mad at me. If I say something, it's never out of disrespect. It's just we haven't met in this life yet, because my mass, MASS, is not together and hasn't been together since 1998, while others lie about landing gear and things that they want before they'll allow the two gods to be as one. The landing gear, the land in G, capital G. Hello. Yeah, and that's where Nicholas and I come from. One way of explaining it. The living anatomical N feature, that's only the two of us starting with an N, in this dynastic and dynamic version of humans, which is what we were hoping to get right back in 1978 and moving forward, except you've held on to paintbrushes that didn't belong to you and are painting it all wrong. So where are we? Oh, right. So landing gear, right? I said capital G, it's an ear, right? It's on the timing mechanism of Earth, which is ear in a plank, where I take you at your face value. Whatever you say, I'm assuming that you knew better when you spoke it to me to teach me that. Don't always assume that if I've met you in face value, that this face on surface, whatever I wake up in, is going to remember or have the ability to recall recognition of a earlier, later, or a time off the field in the Fidelis. TIMEOFFFEDIULS. What I remember and what I'm able to recall, it is anybody's guess in everyday real life. It is one of those mechanisms that they have been fucking with my entire life. But landing gear for me, I know NU and its commercialization of flight, which we said the Wright brothers, WRIGHT, are not allowed to promote to the cohorts, COHORTS, in any land. Great that you figured out some way of getting flight off the ground. Do not put a motor on it. Do not let Ford put a motor on it. Do not let anybody move. We need to go down to pedicures where it's like Fred Flintstone until we can fix the two-mass problem, and then we can regenerate. So nobody listened. Everybody went with Elizabeth's plan where we kill everybody and it gets faster and faster and faster. And you never know what the future's going to hold, but we will and do, because we won't be here and we have control back when we are outside of this alpha in cuneiform human. And we go back to whatever, and you remain in an omega that you seem to think in this life you're getting out of, which you're not, nor are your children and all of your futures. So, let's see, anything else I missed, right? Landing gear, oh, right, G. And then my whole thing is that no, not every plane has landing gear that comes down like talons and then holds the aircraft up from skidding on the floor. Yeah, well, Sully taught you that, SULLEY, when the physics don't work and the engine just suddenly fails on a Boeing. Oh, I wonder how that happens. It's a timing mechanism to teach you all something, but he was the hero of the day, HERO, landed on the water. Oh my God, everybody's hero. He was a pilot. Yeah, we applaud people like him, saving all those lives. So wonderful. Whatever. Don't want to upset my Al Qaeda that went into 72 virgins of I don't know why you keep choosing these plans, but right, kudos to them as well for giving Allah something to have to explain in the future to everybody white in some version of I don't approve, nor do I condemn either version of whatever the fuck Charlie and his chocolate factory of charring the fuck out of everything in this massive clusterfuck. What the fuck? Oh, where else are we? Oh, right, ducks on the wall. My mom said she used to buy all of those kinks, KINKS, in packets like baseball cards of bands from England. We had Day 5. Day 5? You mean Day Plank? Oh my God, the V? Yeah, imagine that she would put them all above the door frame. DOORFRAME. Elizabeth and Charles must have really gotten a kick out of that. That's the way God's mother was doing it. And they were getting a different lifestyle and peeks into future testing equipment that they had no business touching and fucking with the real God then and in the future. Oh, you people just... And then there's ducks on the wall, the DUCKS of the Bi Kingdom, BIKINGDOME. That I own, being the alpha and the omega at all and every single year and time. Since I own time and space, it's a pace that we are currently in a space that you could not formulate nor explain this container to anybody because it is a massive project. Yes, it is a massive on such a scale that I'm even having trouble trying to explain it to you in like a micro minute so this way I can get to the life I belong in. But some of you had the heads up and up aheads before I got here, so you could have done that work and fixed this for us, so this day didn't actually happen. We have it like that. Yeah. You don't want to keep the two gods apart. Remember that? Yeah, okay. Now, what happens? What happens is you all die horribly, so why would you even go with that scenario? Right, yeah, I never understood that either. But we have the British band, The Kinks, with ducks on the wall, which is... Now, what are these ducks? Yeah, it's gonna be you trying to duck Charlie's charges, and then you all taking aim and firing at the two gods again. For 3 generations going in, it's gonna be hard to get yourself out of that one when Charlie in the Asian factory finds out, and then comes after Britain and London for all of the shitbag motives and things that they did to the actual 3 standing generations of gods that they totally ignored and lied to everybody about and stole all of the time, features, and everything. And they're going to have zero explanation because it is amazing what you can debunk, DEBUNK, and put out into the real public, the Republic, REPUBLICK. Oh, you could leave the K off, right? Whatever. I don't really care. There's 2. There's the high story, and then there's this story for the public that had no choice. 3 generation rolls into this one. Yeah, 3 jelly rolls. JELLYROLLS. It's also a Kaiser roll. KAISERROLL. And you still, for some reason, were not able to figure it out nor fix it. What else? What other, we had some other Kings, 5 days. Oh, the Beatles, the Eagles. Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, you're disgusting, like, view, I mean, like, these people were throwing up, like, John Lennon fashion in whoa, you think we don't know? It's coming from your little sphincter of the fashion, the shag, SHAG look of, like, oh my god, we are going into a death spiral of future because these assholes that claimed a kingdom that doesn't belong to them nor a title is really having a Fidelis Day on behalf of everybody who's unbeknownst and has no control whatsoever, or hasn't been able to capture enough control to then fix the one purpose, the any and all time sets pace and space, and then everything flows from. So, right, you keep putting out condor wings that don't belong to you. You set me in one direction, you look out to see the window to see where you'll be, and you're like, no, I'm still good, I'm good. We could go forward with that. Really, yeah, those are the mental insane asylum people. Setting everybody up for a very brutal burn, charred death for following everything wrong. But, yeah, I have a Nebula glass system. Right, it's 3/4 charge to 1/4 charge. We put those neons together, and oh my god, they're the same attraction that the 2 cuneiform humans have. Oh, imagine how we know nebula science outside of anything human, more so than ever. We can explain it, but why bother? What else am I missing? No, I think I'm good on that, right? And not every aircraft, AEROCRAFT, has landing gear like talons to hold the metal body up. We just don't give you the craft that does not use landing gear because it is not a reward system for people who don't fucking listen.